Dear Aquarians, hello. Let's break down the upcoming month of June. Here, we have an important event that fundamentally changes the rules of the last 8 years. An old chapter is closing. That's it. It's like the whole old book, you could say, is being thrown into the fire. And your main planet, Uranus, is starting a new 8-year cycle. In this cycle, you possess lightness, flexibility, and the ability to reshuffle your life literally on the level of a magician or a card sharp who can shuffle the cards in such a marvelous, unimaginable way that at some point it feels like magic is happening. This is because your planet Uranus is moving from the very rigid, inert, slow to change, and extremely heavy sign of Taurus into the sign of maximum lightness, the sign of Gemini. Previously, any of your actions, any of your goals, your drive for change, for revolutions, for freedom, all of this was literally perceived as a heavy, rough, and clumsy structure. If you were defending your freedom, you literally had to fight for it with your elbows. If you were dealing with work, professional, or career matters, it also felt like you had to claw your way up, as if with your elbows. Now Mercury, Uranus, is moving into the sign of Gemini. And it feels like wings are growing on your back, and you're like a fairy. I want to be there. I want to be here. You know those birds, the hummingbirds, that flutter in one spot and then dart quickly to another, and then to a third. That's exactly the kind of new speed that will become available in your life. You could say, starting right from this July. And your ability to replay situations, to switch from one reality to another. Well, that's one thing. The important thing is that your personal life, your interactions with others, will suddenly become much easier. Suddenly, everything will get a lot simpler. And here's what you need to notice. During these spring and summer months, your two main planets are changing signs. On one hand, Uranus is starting its new 7-year cycle, but also Saturn, your other planet, moved into a new sign for itself back in May. And starting from May, thanks to Saturn moving into the sign of Aries for the next few years, you may feel that your mood has changed, you've become bolder, more daring, and it's become easier for you to take action, to change your life, and even, in some cases, to take risks you couldn't bring yourself to take before. And this boldness, this courage, and at the same time, this lightness. All of these are completely new realities, energies, and boundaries that you are literally pushing right now. Because for the past 8 years, your main planet Uranus has been in Taurus. And that is the slowest changing sign of all. Taurus is, well, this sign is called a fixed sign. That is, you can't really bend it or change it. And so you tried to rebel, tried to get things moving, but it was just impossible. Now it feels like just a breeze, and you're already there, another breeze, and you're already here. And that's fine. Jokes aside, Uranus will switch into Gemini here on July 7th. To really get to know it, to experience these new vibes, to taste them, to smell them, to see their color, to really feel yourself in this new reality, I think it will take about 2 or 3 months to fully settle in. And by October, maybe by the end of October, no, by the end of September, you will already clearly understand that my life will not be the same. La la la, la la la. And this mood to play, lightness, a certain adventurism, it already begins here. And it changes your profession, your personal life, and your career. That is, it actually changes your character. Here, it's also worth adding a little remark about what's happening. For the last 3 years, your main planet Saturn has been in the yin, passive sign of Pisces. For the last 7 years, your planet Uranus has been in the yin sign of Taurus, which is also quite passive. And the situation was like this. Well, I accept. I live according to the yin principle, just accepting life as it is. I want to complain, but I accept, and accept, and accept, and at some point, well, maybe it's time to stop accepting it already. Here, in May, Saturn moved into the main yang sign Aries, which is all about breaking through and shaking things up, the one who says, I'm going to lay down the rules here. That's what Aries sounds like. And your second planet, Uranus, has moved for 7 years into the sign of Gemini, which is also a young sign, also active and dynamic. Figaro here, Figaro there, Figaro everywhere, he's multiplied all over the place, and now he's everywhere. And this feeling that it's time to stop lying around, time to stop just accepting the situation that has already made our Aquarians hunch over. It's like, you have to do something, take action, take on a lot of initiative and activity, wake up to life. You're already seeing all of this now, maybe around May or June. You can really feel this indignation inside. There's no more acceptance left. It's literally, just run out. Here in June, you've really caught this mood. There will be no more acceptance, don't even hope for it, not at all. It's this readiness to just throw everything out the window, revolution style. Well, whether it's going to the dogs or not, you can sense it, right? You can smell something's cooking. So, these shifts from a yin energy to a yang one, from, let's say, patience to now I'm the one calling the shots here, that's what's happening. It's going to be a wonderful transformation. And in the coming July and August, you'll already catch this new rhythm. At the same time, let me repeat, this isn't just a month-long thing. It's not like you hang out for a week and then it's gone. This is something that comes for years. That's it. I think you'll be smiling and laughing along with me here. So, in short, there will be 5 key events in the rest of the video. Each of these events might play a role in your life, or it might not, but this is related to the fact that the things I'm talking about are events that are common to everyone. But below, under the video, you can find a link to a free calculation. In this free calculation, you enter your date of birth, and you'll see a list of all these events and interpretations that are common to everyone. But each interpretation will have your personal probability index from 1 to 5 plus signs showing how much this event resonates specifically with the date of birth you provided. If you need truly personal forecasts based on your date of birth, we have a service called the Private Telegram channel where you'll find precise, individual forecasts for your date of birth, including detailed breakdowns for the week, month, or year. All of this is presented in charts, which makes it really convenient and easy to understand. There's also early access to videos there, so you can watch my videos much earlier than when they become available to the general public on YouTube. For example, this video was already available on June 15th in the private channel. And so on. In other words, there are a lot of different features there. There are also tools for numerology, love cards, not just astrology. Basically, everything I was interested in or worked on at some point, I've put into this private group, and you could spend a whole month just exploring and watching an endless amount of content. Or even many months. Right now, in June, we're actually covering Jupiter's money theme in there, by the way. Alright, let me move on to the analysis. And the first event I want to talk about is at the beginning of the month, from the 1st to the 5th. This is when the black moon comes into play. Well, all the other events this month are cool, wonderful, awesome. But there is this element related to the black moon. It gets activated here from the 1st to the 5th, and you might meet a rather odd person, a partner, or there could be some kind of unclear situation in your personal life with someone who seems to want to get close, but you have doubts. Is this really mine, or not? And maybe there's even some kind of emotional masquerade going on. Let me just play along with these emotions. Let me just play along with this Brazilian soap opera. The main Brazilian soap opera with the Black Moon will happen for us in October and November. That's when we'll really have some fun. But here, it's just the first hints of wanting to put on a show. Or there might be someone who puts on an emotional performance just for you, and you need to understand that the Black Moon is just an empty shell. This performance doesn't have any real foundation, but maybe you really want to play alone. For all sorts of reasons. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to take part in these Black Moon stage sets of love and feelings. And here, the Black Moon is in the emotional sign of Scorpio, which stands for strong, intense, vivid emotions and experiences. And wow, what feelings these are! But if you poke at it, it turns out to be all empty inside. At the very least, the Black Moon can create situations where this emptiness, so if you have doubts, just come right out and ask. The Black Moon simply disappears when there's an opportunity for an open, direct conversation. Aquarians love sincerity and straightforwardness, so that will be enough for you. That's why any Black Moon situations here burst like a bubble in no time. If you decide to set everything straight yourself, there's no point in being afraid of them. Well, honestly, I'd guess that some Black Moon type, intriguing person might show up, someone who stirs the pot, creates a kind of mystical buzz around themselves, maybe a magician or a wizard will appear. Or, there could be some emotional promises involved, and by the way, be careful, because you or your partners, or even people around you, could really get swept up in a wave of jealousy here. The Black Moon is a real master when it comes to these jealous accusations, and there could be a lot of them piling up here. A couple of words for those with this as their ascendant. The Black Moon is most likely located around the 8th or 9th house. If it's in the 8th house, then these are empty promises about finances, or about resolving some money issue, or someone is promising me money, and with the Black Moon in the 8th house, the Black Moon is actually in someone else's pocket. In other words, if it's in someone else's pocket, it's just an empty promise, but there could be a lot of promises. If the Black Moon is passing through your 9th house, then it might mean some kind of strange trip to questionable places. By the way, how do you feel about me making this picture here, waving my hands around? There's a whole lot of expression here. Yeah. Let's move on to the next event, July 7th and 12th. And here we already have a full moon happening in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about constructive, productive work energy, especially mental work. There's really this vibe of, let's get to work now, our brains are going to kick in, get moving, and we'll get a lot of things done. At the same time, the full moon makes all this work hustle actually enjoyable. At the same time, the main driving force here is Mars in Virgo. This means strong intellect, a heavy mental load solving some problems, maybe dealing with accounting, reports, and paperwork. In general, life is really buzzing with interesting, exciting action of a work and intellectual nature, where you need to be like an accountant sorting out reports, systematizing everything, putting everything in its place. And in this sense, the hustle is really solid and good. And I think, most likely, you'll actually enjoy it. For those with Virgo rising, let me clarify, Mars in Virgo is, most likely, well, not most likely, but definitely moving through the 7th house. This is a strong intellectual, aggressive, dynamic energy. Or it could be a community of athletes, someone pushy, bluntly rough, unemotional, but really solid, very stubborn-minded, a character who's following the path of the past node. In other words, I know these people, I know this person, and there's some kind of work happening together with them. This could be an assistant who helps you handle some work-related matters. So it could be some kind of hard worker. And with this Martian, there could be a storyline here. Because Mars is moving through the seventh house, it could also be something personal, maybe some kind of support from a person. It could be a work partnership. Well, as for the full moon itself, most likely it will fall in the 11th or 12th house. If it's in the 11th, then it's influential friends. If it's in the 12th, then, maybe there's a need to step back a bit and deal with some secret matters. But most likely, I would expect something work-related. The 14th and 15th of July. Here we have the theme of Jupiter in Cancer coming into play. Jupiter in Cancer is about motherhood, about love, about family, about harmony, and about finding closeness either with a new person or within an existing relationship. Jupiter in Cancer already played out beautifully and positively at the end of June, around the 25th. That's when the first note of closeness, trust, openness, and warmth could have formed. Here, on the 14th and 15th, this theme unfolds and develops further. And this time is not about work. Honestly, work can just go take a hike right now. Why do I even need you, work? Here, it's all about feeling people, wanting to be with them, finding those with whom my soul sings, and just letting myself live in that song, to wake up and live with that soulful energy. So try to pay attention here to what is the source of your emotions. Here, the moon is making an aspect to the note of the future, which means that a new layer of emotions is coming into my life, a new emotional trust, some sincerity, love, and openness to new experiences. I want to breathe in new emotions. That's the vibe of these couple of days. And it creates all sorts of conditions for a new wave of joyful emotions to enter your life. For those with this as their ascendant, let me clarify that the sun is in the 6th house here. Work here means working in the service sector, where I emotionally support, care for, worry about others, and work from the perspective of how can I make things better for people. Also, the note of the future is activated here, most likely in the 1st house. I reveal myself as an emotional person in this process, and through these emotions, I gain some kind of creative talent and artistic nature. That's why both the 1st and the 6th houses can be expressed here, as in how I create. Maybe I even work somewhere in cosmetology, providing support and care for others, but I do it so sincerely and beautifully that people literally applaud me. And in some way, I open up emotionally and beautifully to the people around me. From the 17th to the 22nd. Here, we have it's a real grind, a battle in the work process. Here, this very Mars in Virgo is unleashed at full throttle, symbolizing a megabrain, like a big steam engine or locomotive that's puffing and chugging along. It's that feeling that we're solving problems, that there's a lot of action going on in our heads. And this is really great for work, really great for studying, really great in any area where you need to get your brain running like a locomotive. They'll solve anything there. Just give them a direction to focus on. And honestly, these are some rock-crushing brains. I mean, they'll chew through any information, any hard science, like it's nothing, just smash it. What I'm saying is, this is quite an active and productive area for any kind of intellectual activity. The main role here is played by Mars, which is in the sign of Virgo and is connected with the note of the past. Basically, this is that brain-crushing intellectual work that you've been familiar with for a long time, something well-known, clear, and obvious. Well, I guess that's it. For Ascendant Aquariuses, I'll add that Mars is moving through your 7th house. These are old partnerships, an old team. It's some kind of old world where I meet people I've known for a long time. At the same time, these are Mars-like people, a bit rough around the edges, maybe a men's group if it's a community. Maybe I meet them at the gym, or I go to some old place where I used to work out, getting involved with a community of hard workers, again, people whom life may have introduced me to in the past, or whose types I already know. In general, I interact a lot with these Mars-like people. That's how these moments play out. And, in fact, the latest events of July 24th. Here we have a new moon happening in the sign of Leo. And this new moon is fundamentally important. It serves as one of the starting points for this new multi-year cycle. As I mentioned earlier, in May and June, one of your main planets, Saturn, moved into the yang, proactive, and energetic sign of Aries. Literally, during May and June, you might have suddenly started noticing in yourself, hey, I become braver, I allow myself to be bold. There's this kind of fury waking up inside me, and I'm taking action. I'm not putting up with things, I'm not a pushover, I'm not just buckling under the weight of some difficulties. I just want to stand up for myself right away. And suddenly, this unexpectedly starts to change your character. You become braver. And right here, on July 24th, this Saturn in Aries will really give you such a jolt that you'll be shaken awake by the energy, by the power that you'll feel inside yourself again. Can I really do this? An important feature of this new moon is that there will most likely be a person here, some bright, charismatic personality who makes you go, wow, I want to be like this person. I want to be fired up too, to be inspired, to be dynamic, to switch to a more active, yang way of life, instead of just patiently accepting whatever's been happening for the last decade or so. Here, it's probably worth making a remark that Saturn, the planet that has this young quality here, starting from this year, the last time it had a young quality was from 2015 to 2017. Back then, Saturn was in Aries, well, actually, Saturn was in Sagittarius, a fire sign. And, for example, in 2017, there might have been this feeling that I have toughness within me, I have a challenge, I have strength, and I boldly, like a battering ram, go forward into this life. And then a completely different reality, sort of, after 2020. I accept. Well, in other words, suppressed. Actually, 2020 itself could also feel like a kind of turning point. And honestly, 2025, for me, feels a lot like the COVID years, like 2020, when the old reality gets knocked out from under you, and you need a few months just to exist in this state of uncertainty and free fall, to figure out what new circumstances you're going to land in, and where you should go next. So, it's probably completely normal if, during 2025, you have periods where for a month or two you drop out of your old reality and haven't yet settled into the new one. Still, it was important for me to reference those young years of Saturn from 2015 to 2017. And also here, starting in May, Saturn moves into a young sign, and you feel its power, and the new moon on the 24th brings you back to that strength. Perhaps through a person who inspires you to awaken that strength within yourself. For those with an ascendant, let me clarify that the new moon might also occur in the 7th house. In that case, it's definitely about a person whose strength attracts, inspires, and awakens your personal potential. But most likely, the new moon will still occur in the 6th house. And this could be a very powerful work-related task that pushes you to a new level of self-realization and inspires you to believe that you can set your own direction, pursue new goals, heights, and opportunities. At times, even if it sounds like I'm heading nowhere, and you don't know exactly where yet. These are the main conclusions about how changes will occur and how, conditionally, the stars will create the preconditions. But this last key 5th event, the last day of the 24th of July, it is an important point of determination, and you will feel this power. It will simply light up with an internal fire. That's it. I'm ready. I've made up my mind. And the new moon on the 24th of July, it will, in some small ways, already be hinted at on the 27th of June, so about a month before, you'll more or less get a sense of what kind of itch is going to push you toward bold and rather daring actions. Basically, you're feeling more and more of this bold energy from Saturn in Aries. I really like the example of Morgenstern. He's a character, he's in Aquarius, but specifically an Aquarius born with Saturn in Aries. That is, his natal Saturn, the one he was born under, is in Aries. And this tendency of his to challenge things, sometimes even to be a bit rude, while at the same time carrying this intelligent, Aquarian image. And this ability to shock people, that's exactly the ability to sometimes break the mold. This, in principle, is of course an Aquarian trait, but this Saturn in Aries also gives the stubbornness to be a pioneer and to act boldly, without asking for advice, making up the rules yourself. And so, with Saturn in Aries, he will make up the rules himself, and you will feel all of his energy for the next 3 years. So go for it here until the 4th of July. You will really feel this energy right on target. That's all from me. Below the video are links for a free calculation. Also below the video are links to my private Telegram channel, where you can get your personal forecasts for the week, month, or year. There, you can also find videos with early access. There are also other different systems there that I love to use, numerology or love cards. Oh, there's all sorts of things, lessons, classes, you name it. So, join for a month. You'll be amazed. I think you'll appreciate it. That's all from me. This was Pavel Chudinov with you. Bye-bye. Wishing you an awesome, fiery time this July.